Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Just very quickly, so I think it became clear already yesterday what the NBI presented. Now, the NBI Director Matibag's testimony completed the chain of evidence presented by the NBI in this case with respect to the articles of impeachment on threats. So first, we saw the video. The viral video. This was authenticated by the first witness. And of course, it also helped that the defense counsels admitted the authenticity of this video by using it in their cross-examination and also in responding to the questions posed by the senators as to whether the threat was actually made by the Vice President. And our second witness testified on the investigation conducted by the NBI with respect to this matter. And lastly, NBI Director Matibag recounted yesterday the full response conducted by the NBI that we saw from the NBI, with as a result of this threat and the institutional assessment reached by the NBI after considering all of these pieces of evidence. And it's clear that they're not relying on just one viral video, on just one statement, but they used a totality of circumstances approach in reaching the conclusion that these remarks have transcended into the level of a national security concern, since it affects no less than the head of the state, our commander-in-chief. So with that, I think we're ready to take your questions.
All right, to start the ball rolling, so to speak, let's take it from Majid.
Good morning po, Kongs and Attorney. Maybe just get your thoughts sa sinasabi po ng iba na wala daw po masyadong pasabog si NBI Director Matibag. For example, si dating Secretary Roque nag-post po sa kanyang Facebook account, sabi po niya hindi naman daw po pasabog kundi quitis lang daw po yung testimony ni Director Matibag.
Well, siguro unahin ko, ang sinabi ko is during the hearing. Pero kung mapapansin natin lahat, medyo na-address to nung presiding officer na yung mga personal na sentiments, yung mga nangyayari sa labas, kung maaari, wag dadalhin sa loob ng impeachment court, aside from the comment naman nung sinasabi mo, malaking piece ng puzzle yung pagdating ni NBI Director Matibag kasi nabuo niya yung kwento kinonfirm niya na hindi lang spliced yung mga nais nilang palabasin na galing sa depensa. He painted the bigger picture na naipakita niya na buong-buo talaga yung ebidensya at na-affirm niya yung side ng prosecution na sa ebidensya po ng threat na yon, naganap po talaga at active threat pa rin po yun. Nakita rin po natin na susugan niya na ongoing po at may lead sila. Dala pa nga po niya yung mga confidential na documents at patungo po dun sa mga nagplano o may plano or persons of interest. So, meron pa mamaya. Medyo may mga times na medyo mainit pero I think the presiding officer of the impeachment court has kumbaga hinandle niya ng mas maayos kasi nga nakikita naman po natin sa mga nakarang ilang araw medyo mainit nga po talaga. At saka minsan parang may mga tinginan sila nung hearing na ino-obserbahan ko medyo tagus yung mga tingin nila ng konti. So, inaasahan naman natin yon pero maganda rin at importante rin na mas nag-focus sila sa witness at kung anumang impormasyon yung mailalabas at importanteng impormasyon kesa naman po yung focusing on personalities. Malaking bagay po sa amin yan.
Yes, I think people are entitled to their own opinion, but naririnig din namin ng ibang komento ng mga ibang tao na napaka-importante ng sinabi ni NBI Director Matibag kahapon na kung tinanong siya kung anong level of confidence niya na kung meron ba talagang taong kinausap ang Vice Presidente para paslangin ng Presidente? Ang sagot niya, 100%. Sure, there is. No? So, again, they're pursuing leads, and this is now just for the purpose of identifying that person. Pero wala nang question kung meron ba talagang ganitong taong kinausap. No? At I think ang pinakamahalaga, no, naging na nailahad kahapon ng NBI Director ay hindi na ito usapan lang na viral statement. No? Napakaseryoso na no usapan na to. Tulad ng nasabi niya, kapag kinonsidera yung totality of circumstances, maliwanag na talagang merong aktibong threat against the life of the President. At hindi lang nanggaling sa isang tao, nanggagaling sa isang pamilya. Kaya nga sinabi pa niya, binalikan nila, pati yung naging mga pahayag ng Davao Mayor Baste Duterte na pareho dun sa sinabi ng Vice Presidente dito sa kaso na to, which is, sabi nila, gusto namin ng isang ulo lamang, ulo ng Presidente. No? Na inihambing dun sa naging statement ng Vice Presidente na she was imagining cutting off the head of the President. Oh. So, napaka halaga ho nito. No? Dahil nakikita natin, tulad ng sinabi kanina, yes, the statement itself is shocking. No? It is unacceptable just by itself. Pero pag tinignan natin totality circumstances, mas nakakabahala na ang premier investigative body ng ating bansa ay kinoconsider ito na napakaseryoso na actual, continuing, persisting threat no, against the President. At dahil dyan, nagiging usapin na to ng pangbansang seguridad. No? So, tingin namin napaka-importante pa rin naging testimonya niya kahapon.
In addition to that, I think what we can say po siguro is that we agree with Attorney Jay, no? Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, pero for the prosecution at least, we have to consider that this was a very substantial witness. They were able to, Director Matibag was presented and was able to piece together yung evidence. Maalala po natin yung mga first two witnesses ng prosecution, ang mga their testimony was really more on the threat itself, or you know, as they would say, at least yung pahayag niya, those words that were mentioned. But with the testimony of Director Matibag, we now have the institutional picture po no, of how the NBI treated the statement, and so I think now we have put in the open court yung legal implications po no, or how the NBI assessed the same. So I think that in itself was a very big part of the testimony.
Speaking of mainit, medyo nag-init po yung ulo ni Senator Judge Pia Cayetano kahapon towards lead prosecutor Jervy Luistro. Sa pananaw po ninyo, paano ninyo hinandle yung way ng pag-approach ni Senator Pia? Tingin po ba ninyo it was rude or nabastos po ba doon si lead prosecutor Jervy Luistro?
Well, you cannot argue with the Senator Judge. Pero I think si Kong Jinky handles mga ganyan very well. Kung makikita nyo naman, meron din siyang legal background. Matagal din po siya sa practice, sa pagtuturo. Tingin ko naman na maayos naman po yung pag-handle niya. And kung meron man siguro may point na dinadrive yung ating mga senator judges, kailangan lang po tanggapin saka siguro pag-usapan para maayos po na ma-handle po ng court actually. Kung dinedirekta man nila yan sa prosecution or sa defense. So, klaro naman po, para sa akin, maayos yung pagka-handle ni Kong Jinky doon.
And I think it's clear that she showed restraint, no, and composure, and she continued to display respect towards all of the senator judges. At importante, despite these matters, no, she was still able to properly and effectively articulate their positions on the arguments raised. No, at pinakamahalaga, napailabas pa rin niya yung testimonya na gusto naming maipalabas sa importanteng testigo namin kahapon.
Good morning po, sirs. Next week po mag-start na po yung second regular session po ng 20th Congress. Will there be big adjustments or necessary adjustments para po sa prosecution team since mahati na po yung inyo pong work, legislative work, and ito pong impeachment trial? Will you delegate more of your job po sa private prosecutors?
I think I'll be in the best position to speak no, for the prosecution. I think there won't be that big adjustment. The only adjustment really would be yung physical adjustment natin. I think there's that talk na magiging morning session na tayo. But other than that, as what the prosecution is already doing, tuloy pa rin naman po yung aming functions as congressmen. Even with the session, tuloy pa rin yun. As it is, even before session, divided na rin po talaga yung time ng prosecution. We still have our constituents to serve. So I think it should be very, very much manageable. Whether or not it will be given more to the private prosecution, that would be less about the amount of work to be done, but more on strategy pa rin po yung maging guiding principle ng prosecution.
Well, at least naman po medyo mas may flexibility kasi may schedule na. Kumbaga time management na lang po. But siguro makikita natin na medyo mag-overtime po ang House of Representatives lalo pag nag-start na po yung session. Total, kung may committee hearings naman, may scheduling naman po yan. Kung may duty sa floor, yung mga presiding officer, yung mga committee on rules, well, ano na yan, time management na lang yan. Ano ba?
So hindi nyo po nakikita makaka-apekto po itong impeachment trial sa legislative work nyo po?
I don't think so. Like I mentioned, as it stands, even before the session coming in, patuloy pa rin naman po yung trabaho ng mga prosecutors as congressmen, and I see it would be the same naman po even with session resuming. Actually po, just to add, it would be easier nga because during the break, the job of the congressman was usually for the district congs to go to their districts, kami naman to consult with our respective constituents. Now that the session is back, mas madali na lang yun kasi we only have to report back to QC naman po .
Mas nahirapan kaming actually ngayong break kasi medyo mas nabawasan yung tempo namin sa distrito. Pero syempre, may communication naman, saka bukas pa rin naman yung mga opisina namin sa distrito during the break. Mas nabawasan lang ng konti yung ikot sa mga barangays saka mga towns.
Alright po. Regarding naman po sa strategy, is there a need to strategize po ang prosecution team? Kasi si Congressman Terry Redon kahapon, after the Day 8 impeachment trial, he said na nanggagaling ang chismis at kontrobersya sa defense team. And then kapansin-pansin din po kahapon during the cross-examination of Attorney Vinluan kay Attorney Matibag na gumagamit sila ng mga visual aid or visual presentation. So is there a need to re-strategize, if ever?
Well, iba yung parang nag-iba yung atake nila, no? Pero same line of questioning. Parang medyo mas patwitams yung dating nung defense kahapon na may visuals, 'di ba? Makikita naman natin yung adjustment nila doon. Pero again, sabi ko yung prep time with the prosecution has always been there, very steady po. Siguro ang medyo, ayoko namang palabasin na yun lang yung na-isolate ko from the entire cross. Pero syempre si Congresswoman Rene Matibag, I understand that there's other strategies may atake po sila na iba, pero you have to understand that she's a congresswoman and she's the chair of the Committee on Women. Strong independent na na public servant. Siguro dun lang sa part na yun medyo tumaas ng konti yung kilay ko na parang may antics sila toward that part na character talaga yung inaatake imbes na yung ebidensya. Kumbaga tinitibag siya pero kulang, parang ganun yung dating . So, yun lang naman para sa akin. Other than that, medyo yung mga visual aids, parang PowerPoint presentation, medyo patwitams lang talaga yung dating .
I think yung pinag-usapan po na strategy that was being mentioned, these are more minor things na lang po, no? Yung pinagbabanggit na visual aids or the way that they would approach the witnesses or the way that they would, cross or examine. And that would, yes, it would entail necessary adjustments to the prosecution, pero very minor lang yan. But the general strategy of the prosecution remains the same. Ilatag ang lahat ng ebidensya, present it fairly to the court, and to assess all of the evidence together. Fairness is about not, looking at less evidence, but looking at all of it. So the strategy remains the same: present the case, have the trial court, have the impeachment court try the case.
Kaya din namin laging inaanyayahan lahat ng mga kababayan natin na subaybayan ng mabuti itong impeachment proceedings na to, no, para mapanood nila at makita ano ba talaga ang nangyayari sa paglilitis, ano ba talaga ang nagiging nailalapag na ebidensya sa paglilitis na to, ano ba ang nagiging tugon ng mga witnesses sa questions ng mga councils and the senators para hindi basta magpadala, no, doon sa mga misinformation campaigns kung saan man yan nanggagaling, no, kasi minsan nakikita natin may mga videos, no, taking some portions of the trial and taking it out of context, kaya naliligaw ho yung mga tao, kaya napaka halaga na mapakita natin sa kanila ano ho yung totoong nangyayari sa proceedings na ito. At tulad na ho ng nasabi kanina, yes, madami hong naging question doon sa cross-examination, no, nasubukan nilang impeach ang kanyang credibility, ang kanyang motives, pero malinaw naman, lahat ng mga tanong na to, wala hong direktong connection dun sa naging paksa ng kanyang testimonya, which is yung naging masusing investigasyon na ginawa ng NBI patukoy dito sa mga nakababahalang pagbabanta na ginawa ng Vice Presidente sa buhay ng Presidente.
Thank you, sirs.
Good morning po, Kongs and Attorney. Isaiah from Billionaire Nabante. First question ko po since inaasahan nga po natin today na yung huling araw for Article 4, yung grave threats. Can we say na enough na po ba lahat ng mga ebidensya, lahat ng testimonya na naiharap po natin sa impeachment court to convince our senator judges to convict the Vice President?
Well, again, una-una we have to emphasize, we'll always respect, no, the authority of the impeachment court, which was granted to it under the Constitution, no, to decide on this matter. So hindi ho namin pangungunahan kung ano maging decision nila. Pero ang pwede naming sabihin is malaki ang tiwala namin at kumpiyansa sa ebidensya na naaming nailatag na paukol dito sa grave threats. Again, at this point, wala nang katanungan kung totoo ba itong video na napanood na by this time ng lahat ng tao na siguro dito ho, kung saan ginawa yung pag-amin na meron ng kasunduan ng Vice Presidente para paslangin ng Presidente. So wala nang question dyan, no? Napakaliwanag na din kung ba ang kadahilanan bakit ito seneryoso, no, ng NBI. Dahil na nga, hindi ito isang isolated event, hindi ito isang sentence lamang or isang viral video. No, may pattern of pattern of violence na nakita, no, both in actions and in words. At patukoy dito sa naging salita niya, consistent siya, no, even before that November 23 video. Months before, sinabi na niya, gusto niyang pugutan ng ulong presidente. Sinundan niya na ito na pag-amin na actually meron na siyang kasunduan na patay ng presidente. Pagkatapos, 3 days after, hindi niya binawi, pinandigan pa niya yung salita niya. So, para sa amin, napakalinaw na ng ebidensya na ilinatag namin sa kaso na to.
Actually, maganda yung pagka-explain ni Attorney Jay, no? Sa akin lang talagang hindi naman nagbago yung ebidensya nga, yung for lack of a better term, hindi naman natibag yung mga witness. Mas nabuo pa nga yung picture, saka na-affirm na po na there is an existing threat. At ang threat na po yun nanggaling po sa pangalawang Pangulo. So, parang nasemento lang, pinatibay lalo.
Sige, Kong Rog.
No, because he called me out lang. Pero just to say na I think Attorney Jay really summarized it really well. For the prosecution, I think we do believe that the evidence has already established all the points that the prosecution needed to establish. In fact, not just the witnesses and the indirect, no? Dahil during cross, some points were already made na nakita po ng prosecution na we could actually do with less witnesses, and in fact we did drop witnesses. So yeah, I think it speaks of the confidence of the prosecution that the point has been made.
Just add
Sige,
one more.
Attorney.
And sa tingin namin, no, sa panahon na to, maliwanag na yung mga napatunayang salita at aksyon ng Vice Presidente, makakasagot na siya dun sa mga importanteng katanungan dito sa impeachment proceedings na to, which is itong mga ganitong salita, itong ganitong mga aksyon, pinapakita ba nito na karapat-dapat pa ring manatili na pinakapangalawang, pinakamataas at makapangyarihan na lingkod bayan ng Vice Presidente? Oh, itong mga aksyon at mga salita na to, pinapakita ba nito na kanya nang pinagtaksilan ang tiwala ng bayan nung siya ay linuklok sa pwesto na to? Pinapakita na ba nito na maliwanag, no? Nagkaroon siya ng seryosong paglabag sa saligang batas? Para sa amin, maliwanag na ho yung kasagutan dyan.
So, can we say na the senator judges has no reason to say to not to convict, to not to convict the Vice President since napakalinaw na po ng mga ebidensya natin?
Again, di namin sila pangungunahan. Decision nila yan. No? Pero para sa amin, maliwanag na kung anong sinasabi ng ebidensya na nailatag namin dito. But just the same, to be fair, sabi nga, lagi naming sinasabi, hintayin natin na maglapag ng ebidensya ang magkabilang panig, tapos tsaka tayo bumuo ng ating desisyon paukol dito. So sa ngayon, tulad ng sinabi na kong paumalinaw under cross-examination, hindi natibag yung mga testimonya ng aming mga witnesses at yung mga linapag naming ebidensya. So tignan natin kung meron silang counter-evidence na mapapakita. No? But so far as we're concerned, napakalinaw sa amin, no? Malakas ang tiwala namin sa ebidensya namin.
Last question na lang po. Yung kahapon din nangyari, yung pinakita rin yung video ni Mayor Baste Duterte na patungkol pa rin po sa ulo ni PBBM. Can we say po, is it a good point to say na hindi talaga conditional yung threat ni VP Sara, kundi may plano talaga, yung pamilya nila na gawin yung sinasabi nilang umano'y pagbabanta?
Malinaw na yan mismo ang sinabi ng NBI Director Matibag kahapon. No? Nang tinignan itong totality of circumstances, naging malinaw sa kanila na hindi siya isang viral video lamang. No? Ito ay isang concerted and active threat. No? Makikita sa pamilya nila. No? Pare-pareho yung sinasabi. Gusto nila ang ulo ng presidente. So, tama ho yun. We agree with the statement na mas pinagtibayan pa nito na talagang may plano talaga. At in fact, again, nagkaroon na nga ng kasunduan para isagawa itong plano na to.
Ayun, tama po si Attorney Jay, no? Na-establish po yun, kumbaga na. Sabi ko nga, nabuo na yung bigger picture. Kumbaga sa buzzwords, parang maririnig mo na lang palagi, ulo, pugot, libing, hukay, bloodbath, dugo. Parang yun na lang yung mga buzzwords na lumalabas eh. Nakakalungkot, nakakaalarma actually. Kaya again, never naman na conditional threat yung pagkakatingin natin dito. Talagang active threat po talaga siya. Which continues to be, alam naman ng taong bayan, nakikita nila yung mga nangyayari. So, yun lang po.
In addition to that lang po na siguro, we don't want to, prejudge it, and we definitely don't want to say any conclusion of loss here. But as Attorney Jay said, this is the report of the NBI, no? It's an institutional report that he already testified to. And we have to remember that this is the NBI's conclusion. It's not final judgment for the impeachment court, but it is evidence definitely that should be weighed by the court. So,
Lasa lang po talaga. So, definitely itong impeachment na ito, nakatulong din po for the benefits of the President na mailigtas nga siya dun sa possible danger na pinaplano po ng pamilya Duterte.
I think outside of this impeachment process, maliwanag naman ang sinabi ng NBI director na nagsimula na actually, no, yung pagbuo ng sa kanilang special task force, no, para seryosong imbestigahan pa itong threat na to. So I think it's not dependent on this. Kumikilos naman na yung mga investigative agencies and bodies natin.
All right. Go ahead.
Hello po, good morning. Good morning, Lance po from Newswatch Plus. Balikan ko lang po yun sa threats ni VP Sara kasi yung nagiging ilang defense nila is these are just rhetorics kasi the Dutertes talaga are known for, hyperboles. I mean, from the past administration hanggang ngayon. Can that be a valid excuse or can that be a valid argument na can rhetoric be an excuse for these offensive languages?
Well, of course not. Again, we have to look at the totality of the circumstances. It will be a completely different story if it was just uttered in a single event, one time. No? Pwede pang siguro sabihin, nadala lang ng bugso ng damdamin, mainit ang ulo niya, hindi niya sinasadya ito. Pero, paniwalaan din natin mismong sinabi niya. Sa kanya to mismo nang galing. Oh, at in fact, naging tugon ito sa tanong nung isa sa mga personalities na nandun sa interview session na yun. Ano? Tinanong siya at sagot niya, huwag kang mag-alala, may kinausap na ako. Sinabi ko sa kanya, patayin niya si Bongbong Marcos, Lisa Marcos, at si Martin Romualdez. No? At again, hindi ito simpleng pananakot lang na sinabi lang niya, papatayin ko kayo, may gagawin ako masama sa inyo. Hindi, no? Sinabi niya, inamin niya kung paano siya nagkaroon, no, ng agreement dito sa tao na to na patayin ng presidente at sinabi pa niya kung anong instructions niya paano to gagawin. No? Sinabi niya, be relentless, huwag kang titigil hanggat hindi mo sila napapatay. No? Ang mahalaga pa dito, tignan natin anong ginawa niya just 3 days after. No? Mas kalmado na siya, hindi pwedeng sabihin na nadala lang ng init ng ulo, no? Pero hindi niya binawi ang kanyang sinabi. In fact, mas pinanindigan pa niya ito. No? She just tried to justify it by saying revenge from the grave is not a criminal act. No? At pag tinignan mo din, mga aktosyon niya bago ginawa ito, no? Maliwanag, sinasabi niya months before, she imagined cutting off the head of the president. Kaya din nga napakaliwanag nung maganda din yung sinabi ng NBI director kahapon to give more context on this na maliwanag actually. Hindi lang sa kanya nanggagaling ang threat na to. No, bagkus nanggagaling din to dun sa kanyang kapatid na pareho din ang hinihingi. Sinasabi nila gusto namin ang ulo ng presidente.
Sir, yun nga po, yes, sorry, do you want to say, okay. Dun po sa sinasabi nung pinakita yung video ni Mayor Baste and the NBI is saying na it actually shifted to a plan na from the threat, meron na talagang planong patayin yung presidente sakaling may pumatay kay VP Sara. Do you think this reinforces the grave threat accusation against the Vice President?
Yes, definitely. And you have to remember also, again, dun sa naging statement ng Mayor Baste Duterte, wala tayong narinig na kahit anong kondisyon o qualification dun, ano? Napakaliwanag lang ang sinabi, gusto namin ang ulo ng presidente. So, kapag pinagtahi-tahi mo ito, nagiging maliwanag kung bakit sinasabi ng NBI na sa kanilang tansya, no? Sa kanilang base, sa kanilang investigasyon, maliwanag that the threat is absolute.
Last na po siguro on my end. Well, we all know that the defense has presented yung sa survey ratings of the president and comparing it with the vice president. And just last night po, may lumabas na Pulse Asia survey which was conducted before the impeachment trial kung saan nangunguna po si VP Sara doon sa presidential survey. Well, again, this was conducted before the impeachment trial. How is the prosecution panel taking this, at least big support for now, for the Vice President? And will this impeachment trial change the game?
Wala pa siyang kalaban ng presidente. Siya pa lang ang nagde-declare. So, malaking puntos po yun. Pero, sabi ko nga, ang surveys kasi, this is the way I see it. Kasi kunwari ako, top 8 ako sa buong Pilipinas na legislator, nakachamba ako. Nasa 80% yung trust rating ko. Survey yun. So, you'll take it as a booster to improve your governance. Gagamitin mo yan na basehan, gagamitin mo siyang tool para to improve your public service, di ba? Pero ang punto naman natin, iba naman tong impeachment trial. So, halimbawa, popular ka, sikat ka, hindi naman yun lang ang rason para kung may ginawa kang hindi ka nais-nais o masama at ngayon nasa impeachment ka, hindi magkaiba po 'yun. Although they can take it face value, booster to them, gamitin nila yan. Kung, syempre, tatakbo sila, di ba? Pero sabi ko nga, iba tong impeachment trial. So, tinitignan din natin yung fitness niya. Sabi nga ni Kong Chel, integrity is continuing. So, titignan mo talaga kung meron siyang nilabag o masamang nagawa, let's see if it affects. Kasi, again, it's too early to tell. We are 2 years in. 2 years pa. Pero hindi na ganun katagal yun. Pero, kaya tayo na sa impeachment ngayon kasi nga, meron siyang mga kailangan sagutin, yung different articles. May kailangan siyang harapin, yung different articles. So, that's the way I see it.
Okay po, thank you.
Can I add?
Go, sir.
Balikan lang natin yung sinabi ni Director Matibag. Hindi dapat maging dahilan, no, ang kasikatan at popularidad para ituring natin tong lisensya para gumawa ng hindi tama. No? Hindi ba kung mas madami ang nagtitiwala sa'yo, mas mataas actually, no, ang obligasyon mo na siguraduhin ingatan mo tong tiwala na to at hindi mo ito sirain, hindi mo to laspa, no? Hindi mo to lalabagin o you won't let these people down who trusted you, no? By violating your oath to the Constitution, by going against the Constitution, and betraying public trust.
All right.
Thank you po.
Next question. Joy?
Sir, since na after this po, after SONA, gagawin na po tayo dun sa confidential fund, bank records, ATM. ATM tuloy yung BIR pala. BIR. Sorry. At saka yung bank records. Sir, meron po ba kayong, in your cogmary of evidence, sir, meron po ba talaga kayong fruit of the poisonous tree na bitbit? Ano sabi ko?
Si Atty. J. Buna.
Wala ho kaming bit-bit dito fruit of the poisonous tree, no? But seriously, kasi it's a legal concept, no? Ibig sabihin yan, kung mali yung pinanggalingan ng ebidensya, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yan sa korte, hindi yan pwedeng maging basehan ng liability. Pero maliwanag, wala naman ho kaming ebidensya na presenta na pwedeng maituring na ganyan, no? Lahat yung ebidensya namin, again, for example, particularly with respect to those financial
Kung tutuusin mo. Pero sabi nga ni Attorney J, malaking bagay yung media, malaking bagay po yung truth tellers para po na-explain at naiintindihan po siya ng kahit sino man na manunod ng ating impeachment o yung gustong umintindi pa ng mas malalim sa nangyayaring proseso ngayon.
In a perfect world po, no, siguro we'd have all the time to present all the witness to make it abundantly clear to the public. But unfortunately, there are realities that we have to balance po, no? So I think that's it's a fair question. It's one of the points that the prosecution has to consider. But we do believe that the point has been made, and then we stand by it that the evidence supports our case.
Okay, thank you, Gab. Let's hear now from Marian.
Hi, good afternoon po. I understand, natanong na rin po ito before. Siguro, baka pinapatanong lang po kasi ng office following, some rumors po na baka raw mag-resign si VP Sara amid the impeachment trial. Meron na rin pong statement, itong one of the prosecutors, Kakabag-aw, sinabi po niya na hindi nga raw po ito yung sagot, kumbaga cheat code yung ginagawa. If gawin nga po niya, resignation is not a cheat code to escape accountability. Maybe ask lang po, kung mag-resign si VP Sara, paano daw po ba yun? Makakatakbo pa siya ulit? Do I understand sa Constitution, dalawa po yung ultimate mechanism for justice. Kasama nga po doon yung removal from office, perpetual disqualification. Pagilan po kami ng soundbite. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's speculative at this point, no, to think that she will resign. Wala pa naman siyang sinasabi na ganyan ang plano niyang gawin. But just to address the question, nonetheless, diba, if that happens, her position is this impeachment trial should continue and we should see it through its logical conclusion, no? Dahil alalahanin natin ang penalties under the Constitution, no, for impeachment. It's not just removal from office, it's also perpetual disqualification from holding public office. So dapat ituloy ito, no? Lalo na patapos na ang prosecution, mag-present at least ng evidence sa isang article, which is article on grave threats. And tulad ng sinabi namin, hindi pwedeng ibasura na lang natin lahat ng ebidensya. Pagkatapos na nating narinig dito, no, ang ebidensya na nagpapakita, at least to our mind or position, no, na nagpapakita na hindi nakatanggap-tanggap na manatili ang Vice Presidente sa position na ito, pwede bang ibasura na lang natin to lahat dahil lang nag-resign na siya? No? So, hindi pwedeng takasan ng accountability at lahat, no, ng mga penalties under the Constitution by just simply resigning.
Ako tingin ko kasi hindi siya magre-resign eh. Pero kung sakali, maghahanda ako.
Para saan, sir? Maghahanda po para saan?
Hindi, kailangan nila mag-appoint, di ba? May proseso. Hindi, joke lang. Joke lang kayo naman. Hindi, opinion ko lang, tingin ko hindi siya magre-resign. If ever, medyo maugong nga kasi yung mga ganong balita. Actually, isang buwan na maugong yung mga balita na yun. Pero sa tingin ko, hindi siya magre-resign. So, might as well face this impeachment trial head-on para masagot na rin po yung mga tanong saka ilang taon na rin po to. Mabot na ng taon. Tingin ko hindi siya magre-resign. Opinion ko lang naman. Tingin ko hindi kasi parang relax, medyo okay naman yung pwesto niya. I mean, may hinaharap siya na impeachment trial, pero nasa abroad naman, nakakapasya-pasyal, nakakatrabaho rin siya, paminsan-minsan. So, parang chill nga eh. So, parang okay lang. So, tingin ko, opinion ko lang, baka hindi siya mag-resign.
Try no joke lang, but they want to be considered for the vice presidency. Because you already joke.
Bagay ba?
But would you want, sir, to be considered?
Hindi siguro. Pero, kung may mga naniniwala sa akin, ba't hindi, di ba? Alam ko dito, naniniwala kayo sa akin, pero hindi, concentrate lang tayo sa trabaho saka sa distrito.
Sino po sa tingin niyo okay na maging VP? If she
Maliban sa akin?
Yes.
Bata pa kasi si Rog eh, hindi pa pasok si Rog, pero tingnan natin, parang wala akong makitang iba.
Sir, kayo pasok na kayo, sir.
Ha?
Pwede ka na.
Oo, 41 na ako eh. Tanda na. Hindi po. Okay lang.
Any additional questions?
Sorry. Pwedeng, malapit na po yung SONA Monday. What do you wanna hear po doon sa SONA ni PBBM? Are you expecting fireworks? Yes, Pao.
Yan na naman yung mga fireworks na yan. Hindi, ako ang ine-expect ko, numbers. Numbers ang ine-expect ko. Like, hindi numbers game. ATM. Hindi, yung gusto ko yung numbers na like yung accomplishments by the numbers, yung mga short-term plan po na very crucial for the next 2 years. Yun ang talagang tinitignan ko. At syempre yung sektor po ng agrikultura saka turismo saka health saka education. Yung mga naman po mga basic na hanggang ngayon nangangailangan pa rin po ng tulong. Ako siguro specific, targeted by the numbers, hindi yung sweeping. So mas surgical po siguro na SONA yung ine-expect ko.
If it's not just expectation and wish list naman po, no? We know that this would be the last 2 SONAs of the President, and it'll probably be laying out yung legacy building. But for us, hopefully, tumataas ulit yung presyo ng gasolina. Hopefully, oil deregulation is part of the conversation. Hopefully, maisama sa LEDAC yung MC taxi bill po namin. I mean, transportation related, sana po tuloy-tuloy na po talaga. I think that's on. If we're just talking about wish list po, no? But what to expect is, I agree with the Kong Pao. It's probably going to be the numbers about what has been done and all that's left that has to be done.
All right, but to give time to our prosecutors to, we'll entertain one last question from Vivian.
Sorry, since nasa SONA na rin naman po yung usapan at pagbabalik sesyon ng Kongreso, Kong Pao and Kong Rog, so it took the House 4 years to pass on final reading 26 of the 52 LEDAC priority measures. How does the House plan to approve the remaining half in the last 2 years of President Marcos Jr.'s term amid the impeachment trial, the budget deliberations, and the change in political climate? Is it doable? What challenges do you see, and how does the House plan to address it?
Well, from the track record naman po nung House, no, medyo sa prioritization saka pag-approve po ng mga LEDAC priority measures, medyo maganda naman po yung tinatahak natin. Pero yun nga, kailangan mas tutukan ngayon, kailangan mas siguro damihan yung frequency ng mga meetings namin. Together with our counterparts in the Senate, kasi malaki pong bagay sila na partner mo yan para umabot po sa ekutibo. So again, during the SONA, we will take note, we will focus on yung mga sinasabi ng Pangulo, and then I'm sure they will submit yung mga priorities nila. Pero may mga curveballs dyan usually, yung mga parang the past few years may mga dinagdag po, medyo dumami po yung LEDAC measures. I think we're on track naman, pero kailangan po syempre we've always taken pride na na-check po namin yung majority o karamihan po buo yung LEDAC measure. So kailangan po maghanda. Again, it is with the leadership as well na to steer us, with the speaker and the majority leader na kasama po namin dyan. Kasi nga medyo overtime po ang House, and I'm sure we will medyo may challenges siguro dahil sa oras, may impeachment, meron yung mga iba-ibang agenda namin, yung mga district priorities namin, mga district legislative measures namin. So talagang it will be a very busy next 2 years for the House.
I'm not sure about the numbers po, and I could be mistaken, but I'm fairly confident historically the House has been able to produce results when it comes to LEDAC priorities. Perhaps maybe in this round, if totoo po yung numbers na lumagit po niya, Ma'am Vivian, that's probably because nasa committee pa lang po yung iba. But what I can say is, as a member of the rules in our agenda, always we discuss about yung sa LEDAC priorities that always gets the priority in the yung schedule setting. But everything seems to be on track, and as far as I know po, not only in the Rules Committee, even yung sa various committees to which the LEDAC priorities have been already referred to, gumagalaw rin naman po. So I do expect that we should be able to reach the target.
Challenges. Do you see challenges in passing the remaining?
Oh, well, like I said, historically, we're able to produce results. So the challenges would definitely be just a matter of time constraint, given that a lot of things are going on in Congress. But that's always been the case naman po. Like those same challenges have always been around, even in the previous Congress. Yet the results are, produced. So I do think na kaya naman po.